Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. Today, I am with you again with spooky stories. Please like and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you, and have a good time. Once, in a quiet town nestled between rolling hills, there stood a majestic structure known as Blackwood Library. This imposing building was the heart of the community, a repository of knowledge, and a sanctuary for bibliophiles. However, beneath its elegant facade lay a darkness that defied comprehension. The story begins with Sarah, a young and ambitious librarian who took up her post at Blackwood Library with excitement. She was drawn to the library's rich history and its reputation for being a place where knowledge was treasured above all else. However, as Sarah settled into her role, she began to notice strange occurrences within the library's dimly lit corridors. Books moved on their own. Whispers echoed through the shelves, and eerie figures seemed to dart just out of her peripheral vision. She tried to dismiss these happenings as mere coincidences, but the sense of foreboding persisted. One fateful night, as Sarah was working late, she discovered an old, dusty tome hidden in the depths of the library's archive. The book was bound in tattered leather and had cryptic symbols etched on its cover. Intrigued, she opened it and began to read the cryptic text within. As she read aloud the ancient incantations, a cold wind swept through the library, extinguishing the candles and plunging the room into darkness. Sarah's heart raced as she realized she had unwittingly unleashed a malevolent force that had been imprisoned within the book for centuries. The library came alive with a cacophony of disembodied voices, echoing through the shelves, and the very walls seemed to pulsate with an unholy energy. Sarah tried to flee, but the library had become a maze of shifting bookshelves and endless corridors. As Sarah ventured deeper into the library's depths, she encountered the spirits of those who had been ensnared by the dark force over the centuries. Their tormented souls whispered tales of despair and madness, their eyes filled with an insatiable hunger for release. Sarah's only ally was a mysterious figure, a spectral librarian who had been trapped within the library for centuries. Together, they embarked on a perilous journey to unravel the secrets of the ancient book and find a way to seal the malevolent force once and for all. The library's labyrinthine passages became a battleground between light and darkness, as Sarah and her spectral companion fought to break the curse that bound them all. Along the way, they uncovered the library's tragic history, a tale of forbidden knowledge, betrayal, and a pact with a demonic entity. As the final incantation approached, Sarah and the spectral librarian confronted the malevolent force in a climactic showdown that would determine the library's fate. In a blinding burst of light, the dark force was banished, and the library returned to its silent, ancient slumber. Sarah, now forever changed by her harrowing experience, became the guardian of Blackwood Library, its protector against the malevolent forces that sought to escape its walls. The library, once a place of both knowledge and terror, remained a place where the boundary between the living and the dead blurred, and where the secrets of the past continued to whisper through the pages of its books. And so, dear reader, remember that within the hallowed halls of knowledge, there are secrets that should never be unearthed, and dark forces that should never be awakened. In the quiet and quaint town of Ravenswood, nestled deep in the heart of New England, there stood a centuries-old library, its facade adorned with ivy-covered stone walls and Gothic architecture. Known as Ravenswood Library, it was a place of quiet contemplation, literary treasures, and dark secrets. The tale unfolds as Emily, an aspiring writer with an insatiable thirst for knowledge, moved to Ravenswood to find inspiration for her next novel. Drawn to the library's rich history and enigmatic reputation, she took up residence in a cozy cottage nearby, eager to immerse herself in the town's literary heritage. On her first visit to Ravenswood Library, Emily felt a sense of awe as she stepped through the towering wooden doors into a realm of ancient manuscripts and forgotten volumes. The library's curator, Mr. Hawthorne, welcomed her warmly and encouraged her to explore its extensive collection. As Emily delved into the library's archives, she stumbled upon a locked wooden chest hidden in a dusty corner. Intrigued, she sought Mr. Hawthorne's assistance in opening it. He hesitated for a moment, his eyes filled with a mixture of apprehension and curiosity, but he eventually agreed to unlock the chest. Inside, Emily discovered a leather-bound manuscript, its pages yellowed with age, and its cover adorned with peculiar symbols. Mr. Hawthorne explained that the manuscript was rumored to be cursed, containing a dark incantation that had driven those who had attempted to decipher it to madness. Unable to resist the lure of the forbidden knowledge within, Emily began translating the manuscript's cryptic text. The more she translated, the more her obsession grew. Late into the night, she continued her work, the room illuminated only by candlelight as shadows danced on the walls around her. As Emily progressed through the manuscript, a sinister presence began to make itself known within the library. Whispers filled the air, and unseen hands brushed against her skin. She felt as if she were being watched by malevolent eyes, even when she was alone. One stormy night, as Emily neared the final pages of the manuscript, a deafening crash echoed through the library. She rushed to investigate, only to find the library in chaos. Books flew off the shelves, and ghostly apparitions roamed the aisles. Desperate to unravel the curse, Emily returned to the manuscript. In her fervor, she spoke the incantation aloud, unaware of the dark power she was unleashing. A blinding flash of light enveloped her, and she was transported to a nightmarish realm, a place where the souls of those who had been consumed by the curse were trapped for eternity. Emily's only ally in this nightmarish dimension was Mr. Hawthorne, who revealed himself to be a guardian of the library and a victim of the curse. Together, they embarked on a perilous journey to break the curse and free the souls trapped within. The library itself became a malevolent entity, a living labyrinth designed to thwart their progress at every turn. They encountered the tormented spirits of those who had fallen victim to the manuscript's curse, their pleas for release haunting the corridors. As Emily and Mr. Hawthorne delved deeper into the manuscript's secrets, they uncovered a dark pact made centuries ago, a pact with a demonic entity that had bound the library and its inhabitants to an eternity of suffering. To break the curse, they would need to confront the entity itself. In a climactic showdown, Emily and Mr. Hawthorne faced the demonic entity in a battle of wits and wills. The library itself trembled, and the very foundations of reality seemed to crumble. As the entity was banished, the curse was lifted, and the library returned to its peaceful, albeit haunted, state. Emily emerged from the ordeal forever changed, her experience etched into her soul. She became the new guardian of Ravenswood Library, dedicating her life to protecting its dark secrets and ensuring that the cursed manuscript would never again fall into the wrong hands. And so, dear reader, remember that knowledge comes at a price, and some secrets are better left buried in the shadows of a library's labyrinthine halls, where the boundary between reality and the supernatural blurs, and where the past continues to whisper through the pages of its books. In the quiet town of Hollowbrook, nestled between misty mountains and dense forests, there stood a library unlike any other, a place known as Hollowbrook Library. Its history was shrouded in mystery, and it was said to be a repository of secrets that dated back centuries. Our story begins with James, a reclusive author seeking solitude and inspiration for his next novel. Drawn to Hollowbrook's rustic charm, he rented a small cottage on the outskirts of town, and soon discovered the enigmatic library that would change his life forever. Hollowbrook. Library was a place of both wonder and dread. Its towering shelves seemed to stretch endlessly into the dimly lit heights, and the hushed whispers of books filled the air. James felt an immediate sense of unease upon entering, but he couldn't resist the allure of its ancient tomes. It was during one of his late-night visits that James stumbled upon a hidden chamber deep within the library's labyrinthine stacks. The chamber was filled with dusty, leather-bound volumes, their pages filled with names, dates, and cryptic symbols. Upon closer inspection, James realized that these were records of visitors who had entered the library over the centuries. As he perused the pages, James discovered a recurring pattern, a name that appeared throughout the ages, always connected to strange and unsettling events. The name was Lucinda Blackwood, and it was invariably followed by tales of madness, disappearance, and death. James's curiosity got the best of him, and he began to investigate the life of Lucinda Blackwood. The more he delved into her history, the darker the secrets he uncovered. Lucinda had been a librarian in the late 18th century, a woman of great knowledge and an insatiable curiosity for the occult. Legend had it that Lucinda had made a pact with a malevolent entity, seeking forbidden knowledge that would grant her immortality. In return, she had promised the entity an endless supply of souls to feed upon. The entity had granted her power, but it had also cursed her and the library itself. As James uncovered the truth, the library seemed to come alive with an ominous energy. Whispers echoed through the stacks, and shadowy figures moved just out of sight. James became obsessed with unraveling the mystery of Lucinda Blackwood and her unholy pact. One fateful night, as James continued his research, he stumbled upon an ancient grimoire hidden within the chamber. It contained the very incantations that Lucinda had used to make her pact. Driven by a desire to understand the dark forces at play, he recited the incantations aloud. In an instant, the library transformed. Books flew off the shelves, and the room filled with a malevolent presence. James felt a cold hand grip his shoulder, and he turned to see the spectral figure of Lucinda Blackwood herself. Lucinda's hollow eyes bore into his soul as she whispered, "You have awakened me, seeker of knowledge. You are bound to the library now, just as I am." Terrified and trapped within the library's cursed walls, James realized the true nature of Lucinda's pact. She had become an eternal guardian of the library, ensnaring anyone who dared to uncover its secrets. As the days turned into weeks, James was tormented by the library's malevolent spirits. He encountered the lost souls of those who had fallen victim to the curse, their faces contorted in eternal anguish. Desperate to break free, James embarked on a perilous journey to confront the malevolent entity that had ensnared Lucinda and bound the library to its dark power. Along the way, he uncovered the entity's name and weaknesses, and he forged a plan to confront it. In a climactic showdown, James faced the malevolent entity in a battle of wills and wit. The library itself seemed to tremble as the entity fought to maintain its hold. With the entity's true name and a binding spell, James banished it, breaking the curse that had plagued Hollowbrook Library for centuries. As the entity was cast out, Lucinda's tormented spirit was finally released, and the library returned to its serene, albeit haunted state. James emerged from the ordeal forever changed, bearing the weight of the library's secrets. He took on the role of the library's guardian, dedicated to protecting it from those who sought forbidden knowledge and ensuring that the malevolent entity would never return. The library's history remained a whisper in the wind, a reminder of the dark forces that lurk within the pages of ancient books. And so, dear reader, remember that some libraries hold more than books within their walls, and that the pursuit of forbidden knowledge may come at a price too steep to pay, in a place where the boundary between reality and the supernatural blurs, and where the past continues to whisper through the pages of its books. In the heart of a bustling city, overshadowed by modern skyscrapers, there existed a hidden gem known as the Midnight Library. Despite its name, it was anything but ordinary. This library had an uncanny reputation for being open only between the hours of midnight and dawn, catering to a select few who sought knowledge in the darkest of hours. Our story begins with Sarah, an insomniac and a lover of the written word. Night after night, she roamed the city's deserted streets, her restlessness driving her to explore its mysteries. One fateful evening, as the clock struck midnight, she discovered the unassuming entrance to the Midnight Library. The library's interior was unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. Lit by flickering candlelight, its towering shelves were filled with ancient, leather-bound tomes. The air was thick with the musty scent of old paper, and the only sound was the soft rustling of pages. As Sarah ventured further into the library's depths, she encountered an eccentric librarian named Mr. Thorne, a man of few words who seemed to know more than he let on. He welcomed her with a cryptic smile and handed her a worn, leather-bound book with no title. Intrigued, Sarah opened the book to discover that it contained a collection of stories and secrets that defied explanation. The tales within were tales of lost souls, forbidden knowledge, and the price one pays for unraveling the mysteries of the universe. As Sarah immersed herself in the book's enigmatic narratives, she felt herself drawn into their dark and alluring world. The stories seemed to come to life around her, and she soon realized that the Midnight Library was not merely a repository of books, but a gateway to other realms of existence. Sarah's visits to the library became a nightly ritual, and she began to delve deeper into its secrets. She discovered that the library existed in a state of perpetual twilight, a place that existed outside the boundaries of time and reality. But as Sarah spent more time within the Midnight Library, she began to notice unsettling changes in herself. Her dreams were haunted by nightmarish visions, and her waking hours were filled with a sense of foreboding. She knew that the library held dark secrets, but her insatiable curiosity compelled her to uncover the truth. One night, as she delved into the most forbidden section of the library, she stumbled upon a tome that was unlike any other. Its pages were filled with arcane symbols and incantations that spoke of a dark and ancient power. Sarah couldn't resist the temptation to read from it aloud. As she recited the incantations, the library seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy. Shadows danced on the walls, and ghostly figures materialized in the dim light. Sarah realized too late that the library itself was a living entity, a sentient being that fed on the knowledge and souls of those who dared to enter. Desperate to escape, Sarah raced through the shifting corridors of the Midnight Library, pursued by malevolent spirits and the vengeful entity that dwelled within. The library itself seemed to warp and twist, its very architecture a manifestation of its dark intent. In a climactic showdown, Sarah confronted the entity that held the library captive, a creature of pure malevolence that sought to consume her soul. With the knowledge she had gained from the Forbidden Book, she challenged the entity's power. In a blinding burst of light, the entity was banished, and the Midnight Library returned to its slumber. Sarah emerged from the ordeal forever changed, bearing the weight of the library's secrets and the knowledge of the price one pays for meddling in the unknown. She became the new guardian of the Midnight Library, dedicated to protecting it from those who sought its dark knowledge and ensuring that the malevolent entity would never return. The library remained a place of mystery and danger, a sanctuary for those who dared to tread the fine line between curiosity and obsession. And so, dear reader, remember that some knowledge is best left undiscovered, and that the pursuit of forbidden truths may lead to a place where the boundary between reality and the supernatural blurs, and where the darkest mysteries of the universe await those who dare to seek them. Thank you very much for listening to me and watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you want me to create higher quality and consistent content. Take care of yourselves until the next video.